some fancy wording way back. Okay, so hopefully we'll hear from Lafredo or Charlie later, but we'll get going. First up, now Joanne, I apologize, I did not get a treasurer's report. I don't know if Paula's on vacation
Okay.
or what. I did ask for it. I usually ask for it on Monday. And she replies quickly. So
Okay.
I'll get that out when I do get it, but we don't have it for tonight's meeting. So let's go ahead and approve the minutes.
Okay, I can
Anybody would like to make a motion?
I can.
Okay.
They looked good to me.
I'll
Yeah, I
second.
didn't see anything either. Who's seconding?
Dan.
Dan is seconding. All in favor? All three of us?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes pass. Moving on. Okay, we don't have a treasurer's report. Mine, the usual stuff. I did attend the Northeast um commercial realtors meeting. And that's interesting, just getting people together. It was at Soleil and Sons this month in Woodstock. Um, I did meet with a representative from Woodstock EDC. We had lunch. We're going to try to get together with Pomfret EDC and I can't remember the other one. He knows who it is. So the four of us might try to get together and do a little collaborating on our little border towns here. So more on that, if we get to follow through with it. Still working with the Pathways program out of the high school, and the comments have been really favorable. Our businesses that have been meeting and speaking with the kids, they're finding it a really good experience. The kids are engaged. The kids seem to enjoy it. So that's working out well. Pretty much all I have other than trying to get solid access to the TBA mailing list for Todd. I brought it up with the group, but everybody thinks it's a great idea, get communication. When I talked to the secretary, she hadn't been at that meeting. So she had some pushback and concerns about privacy, but the TBA president is all for it. So we're going to talk it out and get something. So they'll be, part of the
What's
access.
the privacy issue?
Huh?
What possibly could be the privacy issue if they're a business?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Dan as DBC Solutions has used the mailing list. I told them, and like I said, the group was in favor. We had a really good showing last week at the TBA meeting. And I told them it's for communication. You're going to see highlights from businesses. You're going to see somebody's got stuff for sale. You're going to see what's going on with 929. Community news. It's not solicitation. So the group was in favor, but she wasn't at that meeting. So yeah, when I asked for it, there was, like I said, some pushback, not understanding the whole purpose of it. So we will get that resolved.
I'll just add to that. I agree with Joanne. If it's a business, why should it be you shouldn't provide contact information that you don't want to share with the public if you run a business and you're part of a
Yes.
Right.
association. But I
Well,
did have one while I was president. I had one member that ultimately dropped out because he didn't like sharing his information, and he got
yeah.
super mad at me one time because I sent out a group email and I forgot to do the BCC thing so he could
Yep.
see, but he could see his email, and he didn't like that. So,
Wow. No.
Well, I
You
talked
shouldn't
with
be a
Nick.
business.
Oh, go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
It just kind of shocks me that you're in business. You want to publicize your business. Why would you be afraid to give out your email address? And you should if you have a business, it should have a different address than your home address anyway. So
Yeah.
that just blows. That's really weird.
Well, that's exactly, I talked with Nick because he called me after he saw the response from the secretary, and he totally agreed with what Dan and Joanne said. It's a business. And why you putting your information on a website or in Facebook. So what's the big deal with sharing for a community newsletter? Again, it's
Well,
just a matter of misunderstanding, and we'll get this straightened out.
but a secretary who is just a board member can't hold back sharing that list with you. She doesn't have
No,
the authority to do
well,
that,
that's why
right?
Nick, because the whole executive board, the other three members of the board were at the meeting when I brought this up, and they're all for this. So we're just gonna have to, I'll work it out. We will have
Okay.
it.
And for the purpose we have in mind, we're going to be using a platform called MailChimp that we talked about last time. So
That's what TBA uses.
yeah, that prevents the issue that Dan talked about. It won't go out. We can't make the mistake of, showing the whole list. It only goes to the individual. All we really need to enter is the email address too. We don't have to have any other information that goes into the database creation.
Mhm.
And MailChimp as well as Constant Contact and the others are very strict about the rules for opt-ins for emails. So at the bottom of every email is very clearly spelled out unsubscribe. So if you unsubscribe, it removes you immediately and completely. So
Yes.
if you don't want to get it. And they also, when we add the names, there's also a box I have to check that says I have permission to email these individuals. So without checking that box, they won't allow me to do that. So as long as you can get a list of, again, they could be just, abc@123.com. That's all I really need. We don't need any other personal information. So if the TBA wants to strip that down to just email addresses, that's fine. It'll still work because again, MailChimp will only deliver to valid email addresses. It'll weed out anything that isn't a valid email address. And as soon as somebody says, "I don't want," I saw this, I don't want this. If they click unsubscribe, they're taken out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get through that. I just wanted you to know that
Yep.
I was working
No,
on
it's
it.
a valid concern. I get it all the time.
Well, I was one of the ones that started TBA and was a past president, nobody wanted anything listed. They
Right.
didn't want the town hall even to know about them. It was that everybody was just trying to, so a lot of were trying to start a business. Some weren't legal yet, but we were trying to give them incentive to make it legal. We weren't trying to turn them in for tax evasion. So it was a whole different thing than it is
Mhm.
now.
Yep.
But okay, so that's what I have as far as my chairman report. Going on to update on businesses, three new businesses listed this month: the Thompson Smiles Family Dentistry in North Grosvenor, Brink Musculoskeletal Solutions. I think that's as we said last month. There's no line on the form for saying what they do, but we think this is physical therapy. And there's one called Blissful Books in Thompson, and it nothing to do with books, it's bookkeeping. So those are the three new ones. So that's 10 new ones so far this year.
It
Huh?
kind of looked like Musculoskeletal Solution was part of another business already running out of that address. So it didn't look like a new business, but probably a branch of the business, because that's a heck of a mouthful, the Musculoskeletal Solutions.
Yeah, and Thompson Smiles was the same thing, Joe. Trade
Yeah.
name, Thompson Smiles Family Dentistry, but then business name is All Smiles of Connecticut.
Correct. So
Um,
really clear that they weren't two new businesses. They were probably just a change of name or something.
Unless it's part of a chain, I really don't know.
Okay.
But I give you what I have. At least we know that, like I said, we have some businesses coming into town. I also arranged to give the list monthly to Zach Labonte in TBA, and he'll tell them about TBA. Dan used to do that when Dan was president of TBA. So that's it. TBA membership is still at 71. But they tell me they've updated the database fully. So anything else for new businesses, business closings, anything that you know of?
That I've heard of.
Okay.
Oh, the gelato place. I mean, they've been working pretty hard. You can tell. And then also there's a barbecue place going there too. Did we talk about that? We
No,
talked about
no,
that before.
I saw the sign. That would be cool.
Yeah,
That's going to be ours.
I actually spoke to one of the, I don't know to what degree but he's the partner. He told me today, Mike Malone. He's the owner of Modern Lumber in Putnam.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's a partner in that barbecue thing, and he said they plan to be open in May.
Yep. Yep. They're
And I
working
think
on it. They got smokers and everything going.
yeah, the gelato place I think is supposed to open in May too, finally. Excuse me.
I think it's really together.
Choking on a piece of water. Okay, old business. We still have an open slot for an EDC alternate. I did go to the planning office and I talked with Gail because even though it was one of Renee's days on, she wasn't there. Her days fluctuate because she babysits for a grandchild. And so we were told she's there Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, but not always. So I let Gail know that apparently she really didn't resign. So that's why she's still listed on the website. She has to officially resign. So that's it for the old stuff, unless somebody has anything else before we go on to marketing. I hear silence, so let's go on. Did anyone get a chance to look at the links that Todd sent? Different town websites?
I saw the page, but I didn't go on the individual town's websites. I didn't have a chance to do that. Sorry.
Okay, I did. Tell you the truth, Todd, there was nothing there that really excited me. You put ours in for comparison, which was
Right.
good. And after looking at those, ours looks pretty good. I made some notes. Things that we could add, things that we can improve. As we said last month, we have to remove that reference to the pop-up retail village in the sidebar on the EDC page.
Right.
Also, when we click on recreation activities in the sidebar, it comes up with whoops. And also in the sidebar, we have to update the business of the year form sooner. We still have the 2024 list, and that's up to me. I developed the list and I'll get it over to somebody. I
So
see that in
yeah,
Bloomfield. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say if I can share my screen, that would be
Okay.
great because we could kind of pull that up and let's see.
Yeah, I don't do enough of this Zoom stuff to know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think I can get it. Hang on 1 second. Okay.
Oh yeah, okay.
So you can see the web page and
Yep.
This is the EDC page, obviously on the town website. And you know, Brian, I think you came to the same conclusion that we all did, that the assignment was to look at other town EDCs that utilize Civic Plus. Usually there's, yeah, Civic Plus down here as the provider. And so we looked at some of those, and then we realized that, for example, there's on your page, there's a lot of standard information that appears on every page. This town news appears, and then there's specific stuff to the calendar, the agendas, the minutes, to the EDC, the members, what have you, contact info. So certainly we can clean up some of these links over on the left-hand side that are invalid. And we could create some space here in the middle, but the conclusion that we came to was it's going to be a heck of a lot easier to clean up this page and add one very large noticeable button, if you will, that says, click here to go to the EDC's website. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the prototype of that. I'll put the link in the chat as well, too. And this is what kind of we envision as, if you can see this, as the EDC's website for marketing purposes.
Okay.
It's in the brand. It's got the logo basically in the same spot. It says Economic Development Commission over here. We can make this even bigger. This set of images here can be any images. They can have text on them, etc. But again, it's just to give you sort of an introduction. And then down here is the mission and purpose statement. And down here, to be able to, you know, put in some of the information we want to communicate on a marketing perspective in a very noticeable way, we've created these different sections of the website. So for example, if I click on Grow Your Business, just took a second there. Here's a whole section that sort of is a guide for anyone who wants to develop or establish a business in Thompson. You know, it details, you know, how you work with the town hall, approvals and permits processes. This is the various types of permits. Again, it moves, but you know, I can select here, but as soon as I hover over it, it will let me read the text for zoning, for special permits, etc. Down here, I've got, you know, if someone wants to work with the town hall and come in and go through the process, we've got the checklist that will open, you know, in terms of these are all the things that I need to do.
Yeah.
Let's see, I've got too many windows open here. Pardon me a minute. We put the full brochure up here. We want to do that as well too. This will just take a minute to load. My computer's a little slow tonight. There we go.
Yeah.
So we have the
Okay.
full brochure here as well too. And then down at the bottom, we've included helpful websites. These are outlinks to all kinds of the TBA, different state departments, etc. In the footer of every page here, there's the address for the town hall. There's the contact, which will open the form to contact the EDC. And there's breadcrumbs at the top too, so I can always go back. I always know where I am.
And good.
This is the success stories page. We've got 5 here now. You know, there's Rooney, which is the new one we did, Lord Thompson, Patel, Speedway, and of course we put 65 Main up here as well too. So when I click on this page, it will open up the full case study.
Yeah.
So those are all set up as well at this point in time too. The other section, again, these links aren't established yet, but a sign up for the e-newsletter, which will go to a sign up form. And then we've got a news and events section where we can, you know, establish a blog, or we can talk about community day or whatever we've got coming up, and actually create, you know, current information there too. And then kind of at the bottom here is the location, ideal location. We're an hour from the state capitals, about half hour from Worcester, et cetera. But I think this is a much more aspirational and polished look than what we could accomplish on this other page over here if we had to just kind of force information in here. So, like I said, I'm gonna put this in the chat so you guys can look at it at your leisure and give me some other thoughts on that as we go forward. I'll send it back through the email as well too. And there was just one other thing I wanted to show you.
That looks great though, Todd.
Thank you. I always try to get this bar is always in my way here to be able to navigate to where I want to go. Let me just close down some. Oh, here we go.
Excuse me.
No, that's not it.
Great.
Oh,
John,
here's what I
very
wanted. So this would be the address, or we can find another one if you want something else. But thompsonctedc.com, we can purchase this for $13 a year. It'll be on a standalone basis, as you know, so we can always drive traffic directly to this marketing website.
Yeah.
But it also is cross-linked, as I showed you from the town webpage. So there's really several ways to come into this. The idea here is this is now sort of the marketing hub for what we want to do. And then we will use the e-newsletter and the social media pages, which are the town's social media pages. Again, these are all set up already, but oh, I'm logged out. Sorry. Just an example of, our posts are going to look much different than animal control. But again, we want to make sure that people who are already, since this page and the Instagram page already have quite a few followers. I mean, you got 3,200 people here. Let's say half of those are interested in business news. We want to let people know that EDC is actively engaged with the business community and trying to grow and build businesses. So that in the e-newsletter, which will be very specific to a business audience, will create this sort of traffic flow to and from this website. That's kind of our vision for the whole thing.
Yeah, it's looking good. You have some good ideas there. And I like the photos that you chose too.
Yeah, again, we can change those. I just wanted to get it to a point where we can where we can show you guys where we're headed on this. And again, I'll put that link in the chat now so that we can talk about it further. Let me get out of this. So I just sent this over. We've been working on this for a while. I just sent it over to Tira and Renee today. I haven't heard back yet, but I want to get their thoughts as well too, and have the EDC weigh in. The idea, I think, is once we can get this launched, then we'll start doing the social media because we'll have a place to send them. We'll have the website ready to send them, and again, we've got. What did I show you? 5 or 6 success stories. We can publicize events. We can publicize all kinds of stuff. And again, send people to this website for a deeper dive. We're not going to put long, if there's most of those success stories are like 200 words. I'm not going to put that in a social post, right? But this way we can get some of the headlines and the excerpts out there and then drive people to the website for further information. Once they get into the website, they're going to say, hey, look, now I understand what this process looks like to grow or, to start a business in this town. So, and again, there's links to contact the EDC if they get stuck or want more information.
How do I get a success story on there?
Dan, we'll set up an appointment. Here's how, I basically have a conversation over Zoom and then write it up, send it back to you, and you tell me if it sounds like what you said, and then we'll just publicize it. So let me know anytime.
I'm in for sure.
Yeah, you should, because Dan, I saw your thing on Winnie's Facebook. That was awesome. So you should do the same thing to get on our website.
Which one are you talking about?
It was just last week. There was there was a picture of you. I was on Winnie's Facebook page, and there was a picture of you, and I think some pictures of you were commenting on you had just completed a job, a kitchen job or something.
Yeah,
But there were no.
I was having dinner with the client, invited us for dinner, and then we did like an interview for social media at the same time.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that was a great. You could use that same pretty much basic info and give it to Todd and have your own success story on our webpage.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, I have to send Todd the winner of the business of the month. I forgot to do that. So it'll be like last month if they want to do an interview.
That's how I got going with Rooney Insurance. She had won the prior month, and she was great to talk to. And then she kind of saw what I wrote up, and she said, can you please make sure that you include my email address and my website? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. We want this to be reciprocal. Your success is our success. So that's my hope, is when people see that page, as we start to accumulate those, they'll say, hey, geez, how do I get on that page?
Yeah. And that was a nice write-up too. That was a nice feature. Because I read the thing, you sent it over. But I'll get you the latest one too and see if they want to be interviewed. Yeah, for another thing I made some notes. We could add business of the month somewhere prominent.
Yep. Yeah, I
We
create another menu box there for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, as far as starting a business and all the steps, what we have there is really complicated. What we have there now. I can't remember the heading. Section for simple startup. Oh, it's in Business Development Guide. Because it's got everything in there, dealing with wetlands, dealing with planning and zoning. But what if it was somebody, when I started my business, it was a simple DBA operation working out
Yeah.
of my truck. And I don't have to read 13 pages of dealing with wetlands. It would be nice to just have a section that's just simple too.
Yeah, I
But I
mean,
don't know what the
we've tried to
process is
include
right
that.
now.
Yeah, we've tried to include that. Like, here are the key people you would need to talk to. Not all applies to you. For example, like the wetlands piece, if you're going to be a home-based business or whatever, you're not going to build in an area that's considered wetlands. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing. So we
Yeah.
tried to include the basics, but when you look at that new website, maybe there's still too much information. It's easier to take away than to add more, as you know. So
Yeah,
feel
and
free
it's
to
hard. I started mine in 2004 and I retired from it now, but everything every few years changes. I can't tell you. Even if I could remember, it wouldn't be valid what I did to start my DBA. So if it's because people ask me all the time, they want to sell, jewelry. There's jewelry franchises and things. They take up no space. They don't deal with wetlands. Even the question, the planning and zoning question, like, how do I know if my area is zoned for this business? Um, that was in frequently asked questions in Albany.
Mhm.
How do I know if I'm zoned for what I want to do? And that's a good kind of thing to have in that business startup stuff. And I think you have it,
Yeah,
or something
I
like
think
that.
it's whether we can give them that information in real time over the website, or they have to have a conversation with, at this point, they have to have a conversation with somebody at town hall,
It's okay, even if they know
Yeah,
where to go, even
that's the
if it's
point. As,
checked
as
with,
long as you know who to call or who to email, then that's easy. We kind of direct them
yeah,
to.
even if the answer is check with the clerk first,
Yeah, yeah.
because they know pretty much what's going on.
Mhm.
And could direct them to the right office. So just simple things like that would help because this is a town of very, very small businesses. We have a few big ones, but for the most part, you don't see the businesses.
Right.
Like I said, we have over 500 and you can count a dozen.
Yeah, anybody who's doing a physical location, they've got a lot more hoops to jump through, particularly for new construction or redevelopment or whatever. They've got to worry about lighting, signage,
Oh, yeah.
where to put the trash receptacle, all that stuff. Whereas, the home-based businesses, they can kind of go to the express line with town hall, if you will,
Yeah.
we want to make sure
But that
that,
would be, see, those are the types of business that would be scared off by too
yeah,
much red tape.
exactly. I mean, they kind of
Somebody,
need to know they have to initially register with the state and, get a tax permit and that kind of stuff. But once we tell them where to go, it's fairly easy.
yeah, somebody, actually, building a building and hiring people, they have people to look into that. Here, go
Exactly.
and do this paperwork. The lawyer will do it or whatever. Um, yeah, and another thing, Bloomfield had, they added term of office to their EDC staff. We should probably do that.
Yeah, there's a list on that page, on the town page, that has the names. We can have the we can add the terms on there too.
Yeah, not only for the public, but for us. We
Yeah,
find out a few weeks before when Marie in the Selkerman's office reminds us, oh, you got to renew before the next meeting, or you can't vote. I
That's
just
true.
thought that was a nice little touch.
one thing that I would like to add in the context of the quote unquote news site, or at least have you guys consider, is to have more detailed information on available properties, whether they're for sale or for lease. So that's easy. I can add that in. Again, I don't want to do it in such a way that if there's somebody that feels exposed, whether it's an owner, a developer, a real estate agent, or whatever, that it's not public, but I think we should at least highlight a few of the key properties.
Yeah,
And as long as they're actively listed with, on LoopNet or some other place, we can put them in there. And again, I think Tiro would be helpful in helping us determine what to list up there. But that's the thing, is if we're going to pique people's curiosity, particularly to the redevelopment districts, we ought to have some profiles in there on what's available, and some, here are the possibilities kind of things.
yeah,
But
and Joanne's been looking at
yeah,
the private real estate because it's both. If somebody's looking to start a business in town, they maybe don't live here and they want to know, can I live here too?
yeah, yeah. But that listing homes for sale would not be practical because
Right.
unless somebody's on this website, on a daily basis, something that
Yeah.
comes on the market today won't be available by the weekend. So
Yeah, I
it
think
doesn't
just
even
commercial.
make residential. Commercial, yes. I mean, we talk about, I bring everybody up to speed every month, but
Mhm.
even commercial, somebody would have to be obviously babysitting this particular item for sale on a monthly basis to make sure that as soon as something's gone, to take it off.
Yeah.
So I don't know who would be policing the website or our website for accurate events or news things. Who would be responsible for that?
Yeah, that would be my firm, as long as we're remain under
okay.
contract. Yes. Yeah. Good point,
Okay.
though, is we want to make sure that nothing's up there that's already under contract or something taken
Correct.
off the market or whatever. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, that covers most of my notes too. And I had a question looking at the Enfield one, they had media updates. And I asked myself, where do the media updates come from? But I imagine that would be you if you're doing, um, if you're under contract for it, or
Yeah,
would they have somebody private doing that?
right. I think, Enfield's an interesting situation right now, in that they have a lot of stuff going on, particularly
Mm.
relative to the former Enfield Square Mall that was there. So there's a lot of, the town is heavily involved because there's a lot of talk about what's going to replace that, like any other large shopping mall in this country at this point in time. So in terms of, there's a lot of media interest as they get, people making proposals and going under contract for what might go there, mixed use apartments, whatever. So it's a different situation, but I think that we want to definitely establish, in that news and events section, if nowhere else, any type of publicity that we're getting. For example, I can see on the social media that WINY often calls out Town of Thompson and some of the things that they post. So that might be information that's useful to us. I haven't gone deeper to see what they're commenting on in terms of maybe it's the lost dog listings, but but again, anything that's relative to our purpose, we want to make sure we have good media relationships as well too.
Yeah, and WINY is good, and they are good for the area, and they do comment a lot on Thompson. And when we have an event, community day, maker fair, ribbon cuttings, you name it, they usually have somebody there.
Yeah, I mean, in the news and event section, I can foresee we would publicize TBA meetings, any types of meetings with the New England Commercial Real Estate Group, anything that the chamber might do, a business after hours type of thing, any freestanding events that are being done by the Small Business Association or SCORE or whatever. Again, some of those events we're not presenting or putting on, but again, if we create that community, people will continue to go to this website to see if they can find, that type of information. Particularly if it's somebody who hasn't come out of the woodwork yet and has a piece of property or has a business interest and wants to know how they can start connecting.
I think Winnie also is a very good Facebook page to be engaged with. They got almost 90,000 followers, and
that's great.
They're
Yes,
very active in the community for sure.
Yeah, we'll trade on their traffic, as we say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, one more thing about our website. It always bugged me that we don't have an actual calendar. And
Yeah, the town's calendar is there. It's kind of interesting because I look
well,
at that as well too.
you look at most of a lot of our activities are through Thompson Recreation. So if you look at Thompson Rec through the Thompson website, you get nothing. You can go to Facebook, but
Right.
then they also have My Rec on Facebook. Somebody like me who doesn't have the time, I just give up and say, heck with it. Because it's not in one place, and I can't be expected to check 900 Facebooks. The only thing on our calendar is meetings.
Your
It says
meetings.
meetings
Yeah.
and events, but it's only meetings.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's a feature that probably works if you had a lot of activity, if the EDC had a lot of different stuff going on, but it's only tracking your monthly meeting right now.
Yeah.
So, we can try and certainly we want to expand within the purview of business development, the type of events that are available. In terms of a full community calendar, it might be a little more difficult to be all inclusive and keep that up to date, but it's something, at least for the key events, we can publicize.
Yeah. Well, so do we have anything else on this tonight? Any more from you, Todd, or any comments or?
I would just, request that, or invite you, I should say, to take a look through what we've put out there and give me some comments on that. I would like to be in a position where we can get this live and get people going to it fairly soon. So there's a couple things we'll talk about with Tira as follow-up. But that would be the next step, is get the website up. Then we start the social media piece and the newsletter piece. And we actually start driving people to look at this. And at the same time, we continue to collect the content. I'm happy to talk to businesses and keep fleshing out that success stories page, because I think that's going to be of high interest. And also, any other types of information that you guys think of that you say, hey, can you publicize this? That gives us content to push out,
Yeah.
So, you're my feet on the ground, and and that's helpful to kind of say, hey, put this on your radar. This is coming up next month or whatever, and let's give them a push. Let's publicize it.
Well, for
Yeah.
instance, when Gelato opens up, or the new barbecue place,
Yep.
if we know a date, then we should tell you, Todd, right? And you'll put it or promote it somehow.
Yeah, other towns that I work with too, that's a good point. When the new business opens, they'll go, and some have a formal ribbon cutting with the big scissors and all that other stuff. But anybody who goes out and, attends or even lets me know that, hey, this business open, we should publicize that. Like now open in Thompson, whatever it happens to be, we'll get a photo. Even if I have to get a photo that we grab from their Facebook page, we can push that out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And
So,
another business too is the I go by it every day and I can't think of the ice cream place. I still call it Coach's Corner, on the corner of Town Farm Road. I mean, they'll be opening up. What?
It's a la mode, right?
Alamo, yes. I can never remember that name. They're going to be open up for ice cream pretty soon. So I don't know. That might be a good business to interview.
Mhm.
Because it's a friendly business and they have a lot of foot traffic. At least they're getting more and more foot traffic, and actually it would be to their benefit to interview them because then they would have more business. But that's a business to reach out to.
And even whether or not it's a full interview or not, any of those little anecdotes like, hey, I noticed this. If you guys could be helpful in letting me know, I'll make sure I follow up, because that, that gives us something we can push out. And even seasonal stuff like, hey, the ice cream place is now open for the season, go check it out or whatever. That's good stuff, because it shows how Thompson, through the efforts of the EDC, is actively promoting businesses. It's not just about the new business or the startup business, it's the businesses in town on a continuous basis.
Maybe I'll stop
Hey.
in there Friday and get the mention to them, see when their ice cream window does open officially, and tell them what we're trying to do for them.
Sure.
Yeah, and a couple of us have stopped in and told them about the TBA and the pizza. I stopped in for the pizza contest. They don't have much to do with the main part of town, but
Part
yeah.
of the TBA? Are they part of the TBA? The Alamo
No,
people?
no, I've asked them, and someone else had stopped in too and asked them.
Well, I'll ask them again. Because, it would be to their benefit. Well, why not? If I had a business in town like that, I would definitely be joining TBA.
Well, especially if you're on the outside of town like that. They're not really
Correct.
in Thompson, they're almost in Rhode Island.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're a mile from Putnam and a mile from Rhode Island. You're right.
Yeah. And their business is very seasonal, because it's near Aquatic, Todd. It's very seasonal, where they get the bulk of the business in the summer.
Right.
And it tapers off in the winter. They could use some kind of boost in the off season.
Yeah. Well, they do.
Because they're a
They
bakery
at the
too.
time they did a lot of baking. They did
Yes.
pies, and that's what they're known for.
Nice stuff.
But
I've bought some stuff from there.
all right. No, I'll stop in and check them out again.
Okay, and if you guys get a chance, what Todd sent the websites to just look at and comment on, it doesn't take long to open up the link. And like I said, most of them didn't really strike me, but there were a few features that said, hey, we could use that. Or maybe one of them you really like.
Is it possible for you to send me that list not in any other form than a Word document? Because I don't have Word. I can't.
Oh yeah. What works for you, Dan?
I use Google Docs for everything.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, okay. So it opens the Word doc in Google Docs, but you don't have to have Word.
When I click on the link that Brian sent me, it wants me to pay for a subscription.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have a folder in Google Docs that you all use or anything that I could drop that into? Or Because any standalone file, Dan, is gonna do the same thing. It's gonna say, what program do you want to use to open it, right? Whereas Google Docs opens it in Google Docs.
Right.
So whether it's your folder, if you have a folder, you can let me know where to drop it. Or if EDC has a Google Drives folder, I can put it in there. I don't know. Or I can send it as PDF if you can click links in a PDF. You have
Yeah. You send me, because even if I copy and paste them, that's fine.
Yeah, because as long as you have Adobe Reader, you can open links, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna resend that. And like I said, I'm gonna include the link for this new website I just showed you. So that'll be on there too. And that way you can compare and contrast.
And do you have a calendar link that I could use to set up a call with you, or I could send you one?
You can send me one or I can send you one. I use Zoom, and I can, whatever you use, whether it's Teams or whatever, can do that way too.
Oh,
Or
no,
if
I
you
just
want to do a
mean,
phone call, that's fine too. Whatever you want to.
just to make the appointment for, I have one with 20-minute time slots I can send you. You find a time that works good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, just send anything you want to my email address and I'll respond to that.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, and I made a note to send the current business of the month.
I'll put my email address in the chat too.
Okay.
Hey, Brian, let me ask, how come you do a business for an entire month? With 70 businesses in town, it takes like 5 years for a business to get on the bulletin board.
No,
Right.
what we do is it's only people that go to the meeting. We
Oh.
put a business card in a hat and we have a drawing. And they can only win if they haven't won within 6 months.
I would think
So that's
so.
it. We have 71 businesses, but they don't go to the meeting. We have 500 in town and they're not part of TBA. It's an incentive to join TBA, go to a meeting.
Yeah, I would think so. If you get your name plastered on the bulletin board out in front of the town hall for an entire month, that's good
Yes.
promo.
Yeah, and it's on the TBA website, and now it's being mentioned by, in what Todd is promoting. It's just part of the features of the TBA, but there's no battle going on. We make sure nobody can win 2 or 3 months in a row to make it fair.
Oh, but absolutely. Yeah, okay.
So that's the scoop.
Oh, you know something else? You know what I happened to think of last week when I was reading the Villager, and it has nothing to do with EDC, but it has everything to do with our town. I don't even know, Todd, if you were aware of the school kids in our entire school system last month. They had this event to collect cereal boxes.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't know about that.
You did or you did not?
I did not.
Oh my gosh. They lined up all the boxes that they had. I think it was like 5,000 boxes of cereal. They started in one school and they made a domino. And they lined up all the cereal boxes, and then somebody knocked off the first one, and it was a chain event that took, 7 minutes to have all of the boxes be knocked down, and went through all the high school, the middle school, the elementary school, and then after they were done, all the kids picked up these boxes of cereal and walked them down to Teague and donated over 5,000 boxes of cereal to a local town charity. That was pretty awesome. That was on Winnie's Facebook page, and it was all recorded. Actually, Jeff Bolte was recording it, so I don't know if Jeff could, but something like that was very eventful for the town of Thompson.
Yeah, it'd be great to have a photo of all those cereal boxes too. I think people would enjoy seeing that.
Correct. All right.
Yeah, we have our TMHS car cruise coming up this month too. Yeah, it's coming up next week.
Oh.
Oh, it's a big deal if you have a car. They donate the
Yeah.
money to community fire, any proceeds. So it's a good event. I think the seniors pretty much put it on.
Is a cruise like they're driving around, or is there the show with
It's yeah, the thing is, you're right. A cruise used to be you drive from point A to point B. Now they just call it a cruise in. You stay as long as you want. You can, there's no, you don't have to stay for 4 or 5 hours. You can leave anytime you want,
right?
but yeah,
That's
pretty much they're
at the high
parked there.
school next weekend. This weekend.
The 26th. And they have hamburgers and you know, they have food there and they have raffles and any proceeds go to community fire.
What time?
10 to 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be there with one of the ramblers. Okay, anything else for this? Or should we move on? I mean, we don't have much left.
No. Okay. I think I'm all
Todd,
set.
you feeling okay?
I'm feeling great.
Okay, we don't have grant applications. Where is that? My phone is potential spam. Shut you off. Okay, we don't have grant application stuff because Tara is at another event. How about real estate listing update, Joe?
Yep. This month, for sale, there's 9 properties. One is a condo, one is waterfront, and 7 are residential homes, ranging in price from $290,000 to $670,000. So those are for sale. And in the past month, actually March was a great. The past 30 days have been pretty successful. 9 homes have sold. They were pending, and they finally sold in the past 30 days. And those homes ranged from $255,000 to $635,000. And the commercial properties, actually, there were 5 for sale last month, and this month they're the same exact 5. There's 1 business for sale, 2 are for lease, and 2 are for sale. And it's the same businesses that were that I talked about last month. And the dance studio is still under contract. That has not closed yet. So
Okay.
that's it. Commercial wise, it's been pretty slow for Thompson.
Yeah, the stuff, I don't know why
Well,
things
I mean,
aren't
there's only
moving. Maybe we have to prove that we have more activity out here to support them.
Well, again, like I said, there's only 5 properties, and 1 is a business, 2 are leases, and 2 are sale. So
Yeah, it's just you look at how long Thomas Mill has been for sale. Now we have the Knights of Columbus building that was up for sale for a while.
yeah, actually, that's not on my list because it's not in my MLS. But yes, that is still for sale. And I did mention last month that the cannabis property that came off the market, that hasn't been relisted yet.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if I ever get to talk to him, I'll see what he's doing with that. But okay. Next up, we have upcoming events. There's actually quite a bit. We have the Easter egg hunt was postponed from last week, so it's this Saturday on the Common. We have the Maker Fair May 3rd. We have Touch a Truck on June 5th. Summer concerts, we have 4 of them scheduled, June, July, and August. Yeah, Town Yard Sale is July 26th. Community Day, October 4th. Trunk or Treat is October 23rd. And Turkey Trot is November 9th. Oh, there's also a Touch a Truck on June 5th. I don't know if I said that. Big news, you may be interested, next 2026. Amy came to our TBA meeting. Big doings for 2026 for the bicentennial. We're gonna have a American Revolution reenactment, Columbus Day weekend. We're gonna have a mystery dinner theater at TMHS. Gonna have a red coat retreat run, a marathon with a 5K option. We're gonna have a community concert in May. We're gonna have fireworks on July 3rd at Thompson Speedway. We're gonna have a parade on July 4th. I'll be gathering some old cars for that to add to the parade. Let's see, there's a legacy basketball game in November, and I can't remember if it's November of this year or next year. But and she
Brian,
was really huh?
I can let you know because I'm the recording secretary too. It's November of this year.
Okay. I
It's
had
a
it a little bit separate.
fundraiser.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Amy said we're looking to raise $65,000. Her pitch is none of this stuff is going to cost the town payers any money. But she's really excited, especially about the American Revolution reenactment. So there's a lot going on next year, 2026. She was pretty excited. Give Todd something to write about.
Coming up.
Yeah. So that's what I have for upcoming events. And as usual, Thompson Rec is just loaded with stuff for sports and for seniors, and they've been pretty active, really, really good for the town, I think. So that's what I have on the agenda stuff. Does we have any comments from commission members? Guess not. Todd, do you have any comments on the goings on?
No, you guys are giving me a lot of ideas for stuff that we can use for social media. Because when I look at so we're supposed to use the town's Facebook and Instagram. And like I said, most of what I see on there is animal control and
Right.
other department. So I don't see a lot from like the rec department. Do they have their own Facebook page or?
They do. I think they have two. That's why I
Okay,
said
maybe.
one is my
Okay, so
rec.
Yeah, I guess my question is if, anywhere I should go to look for this type of information, if we can be helpful in reposting.
I would suggest Winnie's Facebook page because that's how I keep up with the local events. But you're right, I have never seen anything to do with Thompson Rec on Winnie's Facebook page, and I'm pretty sure that on Winnie's Facebook page, Winnie is our local radio station, by
Yep.
the way.
Right.
I think that you probably have to send them or notify them because the
Yeah.
Thompson Animal Control is constantly on
Mhm.
their Facebook page because of a lost dog or they're looking for a home. But otherwise, there's really not much to do in Thompson unless I know that Tara might have reached out to Winnie to tell them.
Right.
So-
And yeah, because I'm guessing that's a group page, and as long as we have permission to post there, yeah, we can take stuff
Okay.
from them as well as add to what they're pushing out. Because you're right, is if they have that many followers, we should make sure we're using that to reach those people.
Tomorrow,
Absolutely. A
Todd.
lot of people check out Winnie's Facebook page.
I will.
Actually, I'm looking at the Facebook page now. They have 87,000 followers.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So we need to get on Winnie's Facebook page somehow
absolutely
when we
right.
have things to announce. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
'Cause
I'll see if I can tomorrow, see if I can get you something to so you can see the rec, Thompson Rec.
Okay.
They do an awful lot. And one of the peeves I've always had, no matter what it is, whether it's car club, church group, town rec, they never post good stuff after the fact.
Mhm.
You know, they'll promote the heck out of it sometimes, and then
Yeah.
it's dead. Instead of saying, "Oh, what a great time we had! Can't wait till next
Right.
year."
They don't do that.
So everybody has to do better at that.
Yeah, that
So-
should be something like all departments should be active in
Yes.
media for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. We should be saying, "Oh, geez, I'm sorry I missed it because it looks like such a good time." So I'll see if I can get more stuff to Todd, including the business of the month and see if I can get that to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Okay, anybody? We're all set. Next meeting is May 21st. We'll be over. We'll see how the Maker Faire went by then. So yeah, I mean, if nobody has anything else, I'm okay to adjourn at 7:31, and Todd will be talking to you.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds
Great
good.
night,
Thank you
everybody.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Take care.
Good
Good night,
night.
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you, Amy.
Night,
Night, Amy.
Yep.